against journalists. I think those are the two main recommendations that RSF could do to the Nigerian government.
Thank you so much for your time on the program. That's the head of the African desk at Reporters Without Borders, Claire Khan-Schreiber, talking us live from Paris there. Let's take you to other stories now. In South Africa, supporters of President Jacob Zuma have vowed to heckle the Deputy President, Cyril Ramaphosa. This comes after President Zuma was booed off stage by workers demanding his resignation at a May Day rally on Monday. The leader of the governing African National Congress Youth Wing, Colin Main, says that the Deputy President, who is a contender to succeed Mr. Zuma, will be targeted as the president was booed in his name. Last month, the main trade union federation, the Congress of South African Trade Unions, COSATU as they are called for the president's resignation after he sacked widely respected finance minister Pravin Gordhan, leading to global rating agencies downgrading South Africa to junk status. Mr. Zuma is due to step down as leader of the ANC in December, and as South Africa's president in 2019. His ex-wife, Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, and his Mr. Ramaphosa are vying to succeed him in both positions. We're still talking politics in Kenya. Hundreds of people, including current lawmakers and governors, are rushing to register as candidates for this August elections ahead of tomorrow's deadline. A huge majority of the aspiring candidates are losers in party primaries who have resigned their memberships en masse to stand as independents. Police officers and security guards have locked the registrar's gates to control the numbers, assuring those outside that their cases will be heard. Among those still hoping to stand are the current governors of Kirinyaga and Nakuru counties in south-central Kenya, both of whom lost out in the governing Jubilee Party's selection process. Now, potential candidates hoping for a second chance at a political career need to produce a letter, a copy of the symbol they wish to appear on ballot papers, and a 500 shilling fee by May the 4th. Their candidacy also has to be processed by Monday. Nigeria's efforts to diversify its economy has come out of the economic recession largely rest on the nation's ability to overcome the challenges posed by inadequate power supply. A recurrent source of frustration over time has been failed attempts to provide electricity for rural communities where much of the nation's population reside. Our correspondent Ajuri Ngelale reports that the federal government appears to be changing all that with the inauguration of the Rural Electrification Agency.
Nigeria's rural electrification efforts now rest in the hands of the new leadership of the Rural Electrification Agency.
The qualifications that you have are not in doubt. But those qualifications mean nothing if people do not have access to electricity. Your agency, the Rural Electrification Agency, will become the champion of the unconnected communities. Just remember that. You are their champion from today.
With limited power generation and ailing transmission infrastructure, Nigerians in urban communities across the country are accustomed to seeing their lights flicker on and then off. But in many rural communities, lights don't come on at all. A situation which government officials say will be addressed with a renewed focus on solar energy for a lasting solution.
But obstacles remain. Confronted by persistent vandalism, poor awareness of maintenance requirements by local residents in rural power schemes, and maladministration by past leadership in the subsector, new managing director of the Rural Electrification Agency, Damilola Ogumbi, sees a way forward.
To go out, identify the status of all these projects and come up with a proper master plan of how we tackle existing projects while also focusing on the new projects that the minister mentioned. The university project is it's a critical project for us. Educating the next generation of Nigerians is very important for this administration. And then there's also the hydro projects he mentioned, and again, small-scale solar projects that is not necessarily rural. It's also in urban centers. So we really see ourselves as an access agency.
With ailing transmission infrastructure unable to evacuate available gas-generated power to distributors and insufficient metering in urban centers, renewable and off-grid energy sources remain the fastest solution to an urgent problem undermining economic recovery. Ajuri Ngelale, Channels Television News.
As Nigeria continues to explore the ways to get out of this economic recession, there may be a need to consider some recommendations made during the 2014 National Conference. Some delegates to the confab during a meeting in Abuja, the nation's capital, explained that the implementation of the 2014 National Conference will have a far-reaching effect on fixing the economy.
Common understanding for a Nigerian position.
These are not the only delegates to the 2014 National Conference that held in Abuja, but some delegates from the 6 geopolitical zones that participated in that conference are in this hall. Organizers of the meeting say it's a reunion of the delegates to the 2014 National Conference with a view to mounting pressure on government to implement its recommendations. They argue strongly that some of the recommendations of the 2014 conference address some of the nation's socio-political challenges.
We can only overcome our national challenges when we have the commitment and courage to take right measures for solidarity and breakthrough. Many of the socio-economic and political issues that warranted the convening of that conference are still very much with us.
Decisions of the conference on constitutional matters should be subjected to a popular plebiscite or referendum of the Nigerian people. This is a very critical, very crucial recommendation.
A representative of the civil society organizations at the conference, Yinka Odumakin, asks the National Assembly to implement recommendations on a truly federal constitution.
Our people are ready, desirous to fully participate in the 2019 elections only on the basis of a new and federal constitution. We therefore call on the executive arm of the government to immediately initiate the process for the National Assembly to pick the 2014 National Conference report submitted to the immediate past legislative session for implementation.
Still to come on Network Africa. Algerians are set to elect a new parliament tomorrow amid high voter apathy.